The Sentinel is known to be reliable, fearless, disciplined, consistent, courageous, motivated, and skillful.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
All these qualities start from the mind. Your mind can be your worst enemy or your most powerful weapon.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Is this the dagger?
Learn how to achieve greatness and tap into the Sentinel mindset.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this wonderful day. We got a very, very, very special guest, a repeat guest, who goes by the name of Andrew Kirsch. Now, for those of you that remembered, we had Andrew on a couple of episodes back from
Which one? I'm going to look it up while you do it.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I Was Never Here. Now, this was an incredible book of Andrew's life journey with CSIS. It's a fantastic book. For those of you who have still not read it after listening to all these episodes, definitely get a chance to read that. But see, it doesn't just stop there with Andrew. We had to do a part 2 because Andrew also is very much involved in the industry. The Andrew Kirsch Actually, I'm going to say Andrew. It's the Kirsch Consulting Group. Okay.
Yes.
And what we're going to do today is explore more or less what you do there, and also almost how you kind of were setting yourself like a volleyball spike kind of thing to kind of get there, right, from the experience that you brought from CSIS. So welcome aboard. Welcome again.
Yeah, which I'll interject quick. It was episode 36 for those who haven't seen. My Life as a Spy, which was a great podcast, and it brought us into your world.
Yes,
okay?
absolutely.
Yeah, it's great to be back. I appreciate being invited the first time, and good to know I was invited back. You know, it's always a good sign if you come back, and happy to kind of continue the conversation. It's right. My kind of security life didn't stop when I left CSIS, and I've been consulting now for a few years, and it really is. My experiences with the government have informed my professional life outside of the government and things that I do, and the skills and experience I try to take to the private security world consulting.
Yeah, so let's dive in. Okay, so the world of intelligence. How does that? I mean, like, since that last podcast, I've had many conversations, dozens and dozens about it, and you were like the first person that has opened up this world. Okay, and I guess that's the intention of your book, and you cleverly wrote it to kind of say like, this is my experience, but you made it like a really good read.
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't like cut and dry and just kind of like industry jargon and where you would lose the average person. And what I love too is what you kind of said last time is that the average person could have like the perfect skill set. They could be kind of wired or hardwired to do this job and do it well. So that I've had specific conversations about people who I actually thought would be good. And I know some of them, one of them being my brother, who actually even looked into it. Okay, so now how do you apply that now? So that's that world. With what you're doing right now, give us an idea, like even in the private sector, what is that skill set of what you've brought, and how does it play out? Okay.
Yeah, it's great. I appreciate that. And I'm happy to talk to people too. I get people reach out to you. I can see your podcast goes on. I get a bunch of LinkedIn requests, and a few people send me messages and say, I saw you here. I'd love to chat. I'm thinking about applying. Can we talk about it? And I'm happy to do that. I think it's one of the reasons that I wrote the book, is to talk to young people who are looking to get into the industry, to say, this is what your life looks like. When you run away and join the circus, this is what happens to you. Right? You might not know. You want to work for an intelligence organization. You don't know what that means.
That's right.
And to your point, like, I didn't want it to be a policy book. Like I joke now, a lot of guys write the security books, and it's the 10 ways that being a spy will help me make you more secure, right? Number 1, 2, and go through. That's not what it was. It was really, this is the story of my career through recruitment training, and then the number of files I worked on until the end, not the kind of business book. But I think from the book, people do get an understanding of some of the things that I did and where that can help them in their careers, right? I can joke. I say, look, I used to break into places, and now I help keep people out and protect them from people like me.
Right.
Absolutely. I watched Catch Me If You Can with my daughters the other day. I mean, that's the whole premise of that, right? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. You bring in the people, because on the outside we were, we're a joke that the people, we do this too, and we're the good guys, right? Like, we were doing these things and getting access to information. The way spying intelligence works is, we are looking for threat-related information, information on threat-related activities. And what we are investigating and what we're trying to get access to is that information. And that is either via, people that would have access to it and tools and technology and whatnot. And if you think about in private security, it's the same thing. We have, our own private information, confidential information. We have, people we're trying to protect, and kind of how I'd say the vulnerabilities that I used to exploit are the vulnerabilities that everybody needs to be aware of, kind of physical security, cybersecurity, and all those types of things. So that's what we try to do is, in the consulting world and go into companies and governments, large organizations, and even private individuals. It's to say, these are your vulnerabilities. These are your vulnerabilities, and these are how we're going to mitigate the threats and risks to those vulnerabilities.
Okay, so give us an idea of if they didn't mitigate it, if they were unaware, if they didn't have the insight from intelligence, what could happen? And it's imagine the guy who's like, what, do I really need good brakes for my car? What could really happen? You know what I mean? Because most people are very naive of how things can go awry, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, first of all, we're all, and we live in a relatively safe country. I think I say this, and we should be, but there are people who are out to get us, either just crimes of opportunity or targeted crimes. And so the first thing I tell people is, look, we all are at risk, whether it's ourselves directly or the people associated with us, right? And the information in cybersecurity space, the way we're all connected online and with our coworkers, we create an access point to everyone around us. We talk cybersecurity. I say, think about your least sophisticated relative that you're friends with on Facebook. It's like, oh, I'm not going to get hacked. If I get hacked, who cares? Well, let me tell you something. Your account's going to be used to target that person. Right. And they're going to be vulnerable to things that you are not. Right. So you have become kind of an access point to that person. So, who cares about me? Well, who cares about you is because you provide access to them. Yes. Right. And everyone around you. So that's so I don't have anything. People say I don't have anything of value. Who cares if somebody, gets to read my, Yahoo fantasy football.
I post my most private photos anyway.
Yeah. Well, what happens is if you get attacked, you provide access to everybody around you. And what the people are doing, the criminals are doing, what the good guys are doing is, we are figuring out who has access to information and how do we get access to that person. I used to break in. We talk about breaking into places. Now we don't have to be that direct to our targets. We can go around them. So I'm sure in your guys' world where you have a principal who you are, protecting physically, well, you think cybersecurity, that person might have a lot of protection around them, but their executive assistant might not, right?
Yes.
Or their family members might not. So I don't necessarily need to go directly to that person. I can use all those folks around them. So, we talk a lot about that. The reason why we all need to up our security game is because nowadays we are providing access to all those around us.
Okay, let's stop there for a second. Sure. Nowadays, so would you say in the last couple of years, things have gotten worse from what they used to be?
Oh yeah, it is. So I talk about it a bit in the book. My last stop at CSIS was in our special operations branch, where we were planting technical surveillance equipment in places, right? Breaking into cars, homes, offices to do listening devices, cameras, and all these kind of things. Right? Big operations. Late at night, 11 p.m. to 4 a.m., large teams trying to go places when, no one knows that we are there. The book, I Was Never Here, that was my career, right? And so the amount of time, energy, and resources that went into those type of operations, the risk about getting caught in a place you're not supposed to be, the plausible deniability. It's like, if you're staying there holding someone's computer and they look at you, I don't know what cover story you're going to have.
Yeah.
But now you don't have to do that, right? You can hack somebody from anywhere in the world. You can do it all remotely, and you can leverage technology that's in place. So I don't have to drill a hole in the person's wall and put a microphone. You got a phone on you at all times that you may not turn off, right? So that's what makes it so pervasive, is that we now have technology all around us that people will access remotely versus me having to break in your house.
This is crazy. You basically said there's many access points that can be accessed from anywhere in the world, right? As long as you have the internet.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the point. Is that
I'm getting nervous. Andrew.
Well, and it's only getting more. I mean, think about the in our homes, the air conditioning that we can do from remotely, the Nest apps, the Ring doorbells, all this technology that now can be leveraged and used against us.
So these threats, perceived threats, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you'd have a fit if you're just trying to safeguard against every single viable threat
Oh,
that you
yeah.
think or that
Sure.
you hear of. Give us an example. How would Grand Auntie possibly be victimized? Like, what does this look like? Because everyone has kind of like fragmented information. Oh yeah, man, I think someone stole my SIM card number, and like everyone's like, oh, I lost my wallet. No, I didn't lose my wallet. What's happening with my credit cards? And like we have like, I don't know anyone directly that I've seen that has been targeted and has been gone through like a treacherous couple of months or years to get their identity back or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us an idea of like what would the average person possibly face, and how does intelligence or understanding the way it works, what could they do, just the average person?
Well, it's the average person. It's companies, right? So you are providing access to everyone you know, but also your company. When you have user, credentials to your company, you might not feel it personally. You might not be yourself hacked and go through a loss, but you're using your credentials to get into, the executives in your office or, the company is. A lot of the hacks you see are kind of still through phishing and people clicking links and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So let me back up. I'll say, when we come in, so I do threat risk assessments, threat risk vulnerability assessments for companies. And what we do is we first identify your critical assets. So what is you really trying to protect here?
Yeah, that's
like what is actually, what is important to you that we're going to dedicate some resources to. The threats and risks against those assets. Where are you based? If you're, where we are based here versus if you were downtown Toronto, and different kind of threats and risks of being in the downtown area. We're going to evaluate what security measures you have in place. You can't come, access controls and those types of things. And, the likelihood and the impact if something were to happen. And then we would do, what are the residual vulnerabilities? And then we go to mitigate those risks and the vulnerabilities. So yeah, you're to your point, we drive ourselves crazy if we're worrying about every single thing all of the time. But what we want to do is we kind of think, okay, where am I having my sensitive conversations? I'll do that in the office. I won't do that in my car. So now I've got to worry about my car, someone breaking into my car and putting things in there. Like you kind of want to limit where you're holding your sensitive information, where you are providing access to yourself, and make sure kind of there's protection around that. In the book, I talk about we're breaking into places and why'd you go there? Why'd you go there? So that's where the information is. That's where the sensitive stuff is. So being conscious of where your things are, what your critical assets are, and then building a security program around that's appropriate.
If there's an executive of a company, and imagine their industry, they have very, very important information that they speak about. Maybe it's political, maybe it's related to just massive amounts of wealth being transferred. Maybe it's who knows, whatever it is, it's confidential information. Do you advise people to even just be mindful where they have their cell phone in meetings, things like that, because that is an access point.
Well, right? I noticed, Andrew, as soon as he came in here, I noticed you shut your phone right off.
Yeah, that's right.
Turn it off.
I don't want to even record our conversation. It's going to be publicly publicly available. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good practice. I would say, we get called. One of the things that I do also is sweeps. We do technical surveillance countermeasure sweeps, so bug sweeps for equipment that we used to put in. One of the things that you're seeing too is that you can go on Amazon and Walmart and buy a little video camera that's hidden for $20. I don't want to tell everybody where to go or how to get it.
Yeah.
But it recently came out. We get hired for a job, and I get confidentiality, but to do a sweep at a school.
Really?
Because they had their school was used publicly over the summer, and that they had people in and out of there, and they say, no, we as a matter of due diligence, that we're going to have come in and do locker rooms, change rooms, bathrooms.
Absolutely.
So we don't care. We're not who's videotaping kids in the classroom, but
these sensitive areas.
With these sensitive areas, this is where we're concerned about, and this is where we want to come in a very focused way. Okay. And so we do the same thing for companies, where you're having labor negotiations. You're doing a sensitive law firm. Like, this is our boardroom. I want you to come in and just make sure this place is locked down tight. And that way, any sensitive conversations are happening right here at this amount of time. We're confident that we've maintained the integrity of the space.
Yes.
And that's kind of, unfortunately, as I said, it's something that is important to do because it's getting real easy. As I said, you can really do that.
So, Andrew, the Kirsch Group, does it primarily focus with companies or individuals?
We do most work with companies, but what private individuals that have pretty specific concerns, we absolutely can help.
Okay,
out.
perfect. So let's do
Yes.
this for the purpose of let's break this into two.
Okay.
First of all, I'm a company. I feel that I run a tight ship. I feel that I have all my stuff like QuickBooks and all my stuff in order. But there's one thing I know, for example, for us, our insurance company continuously pushes on is having cybersecurity coverage, for example, anything to do. And they'll say things like, if somebody was to hack into your emails or this sensitive information. Now we have all that stuff, but however, for companies that may not be in tune with what we're talking about today, what are some things that they need to start doing? And if those things are too overwhelming for them individually, then this is where, for example, your firm can help them do that.
Well, we get called in a lot with companies that are they're about to sign a big contract with a large financial institution. They're about to the small, medium size. They're about to have a big deal, and part of their vendor agreements are you need to have a security audit. You need to have a security assessment.
Okay, yeah, it's a
requirement. As a requirement of you're going to sign up to be a partner with us, and we want to trust you that when we give you our information or you do these things for us, that you have had a third-party assessment. I get those all the time. And so I'm sure that companies are getting more about doing that to make this a requirement of doing business. And then you have this piece of paper that says we have been assessed, that says that our security is appropriate for the information that we have, and also the physical security stuff too, like access controls. Can people walk in off the street? Where can they go? What can they get access to? And just importantly, if something bad happens, how quickly can you find out what happened? You have your cameras.
Right.
Can you do an investigation? And how quickly are you alerted to the issues? And security, and I'm sure the folks talk about the kind of the 5 Ds of deter, delay, detect, disrupt, and defeat. Right? That those all work together. Well, it's disrupt, defeat, detect. Detect is a big one.
Right.
And then if something goes bad, how do you go back and figure out what happened?
For sure. And I don't think any company wants to play or gamble between saying, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, because it's usually, I don't know, maybe in your experience, maybe people really start hitting you up when something bad's happened already.
So, is it security? It's always, people get a phone call and say, we are literally on fire. And we need someone to come over here and please put us out of fire. And there's an amount of due diligence that you have to demonstrate in advance. And so that's where you want a third party to come in and also save you some money. If you go to a camera company, they're going to sell you cameras.
That's
you
right.
get somebody to come in and just say, hey, look, these are what you really need. This is what's appropriate, and this advice that's defendable. That's what they're looking for. So we do that, and then I say make recommendations. Say, look, to example, say physical security for this space. So we do where the online and the physical kind of mesh together. Some people, we do a physical security scan, and we say, okay, well, I can identify online your home, your cottage, physical places where you're going to be, and also, there's your kids' school, and there's you play in a hockey league, and every Monday night you're going to be in this hockey league, right? So when we start building plans, it's not just you have a security alarm at your house, but also if things get heated, if we have that intelligence that says, you're the crosshairs people are talking, then we know these are the areas that we need to protect.
Yeah.
So that because this is where you can be identified that you will be in places that people have access to you, and then you can build security plans around those types of things or have people that can escort.
Okay.
That's getting back to the kind of the intelligence side of it.
Yeah.
In my old career, that's what we were doing. We were trying to get access to information about threat-related activities. And then we pass the information on so people can plan appropriately.
So let's take on that for a second. So that was your skill to doing that.
Yes.
In your opinion, how easy is it for a hacker to make someone's life a living hell?
Oh, it's just they haven't gotten to us yet. Really, if someone really committed themselves to try to get access to people, it is unfortunately extremely easy.
Wow, that's insane.
Yeah, that's the reality.
Because you're thinking my password is 764121222-8 $. It's not my actual one. But imagine that number. No one's going to be able to kind of break into that code. You're thinking. But realistically, they have with
the challenges. Let's say no one can break into that. You got a great you got the best password in the world,
right?
But you just happen to have used it at a company that is hacked.
Okay.
So now your password, by no fault of yours, you got a great password. Look at it. This is a wonderful password.
Yes.
and it shows up in a LinkedIn hack or a Marriott hack or somewhere else.
Yeah.
And you've used that password across every, your bank,
Okay,
your
so-
Facebook,
hold on,
your
this-
everything. So
Right.
now it's, great password, but I know what it is.
Yeah,
And I can
okay.
get access to it everywhere.
Right.
Okay, so perfect. Now we can appropriate it. So when you
Yeah,
get that
yeah.
notice that says you might have had your information as part of a data leak or
Yes.
something like that, take
Yeah.
those seriously. Right?
Yeah,
Change your
yeah.
passwords, do all those things.
It's so annoying. I know it is the worst. Like, coming up with new passwords and we remember
Yeah.
them. And I tell everyone, use a password manager.
Right.
That'll make it easy. But yeah, by no fault of your own. So you're doing everything right. You got a unique password, and it just so happens the place you signed up for it. They get hacked, and now the bad guys have it, and you got to change it. Of course, unfortunately, people don't do the good things. I don't know if you remember. Like the Ashley Madison leaks.
Yeah, that was a couple
happened
years ago.
couple
Oh, yeah,
years
yeah,
back.
yeah.
And all those are out there, and we got access to a bunch of company emails and just terrible
Oh,
passwords.
man.
People using real emails and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
So then they're using that for their company. They're using their Ashley Madison password for their company password.
Right,
and
right.
Well, guys, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And the bad guys know that, just for the sake of not being organized and us just trying to make it easy on ourselves, we will use the same password over and over and over and over. So if they get access to it, in
Get it once.
theory,
They got it.
they got access to maybe a large percentage of everything that you access yourself.
I mean, I think also there's even like the simple things that a lot of people probably use passwords like 1, 2, 3, 4, or some really simple things. You know what I mean?
Sure. It was an old joke. I thought some comedian. It was like, everyone's first password was password, and then they forced you to have a capital letter, and so it's password with a capital P, and then they forced you to have
Like numbers and
a symbol. So it was always password P exclamation mark. Like
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
had, and this is I don't want to
Or
steal
the
this.
dollar
sign.
There's a comedian who had this bit which I thought was hilarious.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my god. And it's kind of funny. You can go on these, we all have them, so
Yeah.
you'll see occasionally people's passwords are leaked, and then you look
Yeah.
at someone's passward and go, "It's a
No,
terrible-
I know.
Yeah,
terrible-
yeah,
terrible,
yeah.
Okay, so
terrible
this is the
password."
lesson to the listening audience. You're not as clever as you think you
That's
are.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. We
Yeah.
all have the same. We all have the same.
Now, you said something.
Password.
You said it really quickly. Password manager. What's that?
Yeah, so they have apps that are available where you can store all your passwords, and it's a one-stop shop. So you can all use unique passwords for everything, and then you kind of log into one app that then gives you access to all of your passwords.
Now, I
You use
have
that
to
log
ask
in.
you because
Yeah.
I think backwards. How can we trust that?
Oh,
password app?
that's the thing. If
Because
that gets hacked,
could a hacker have even created that to
Well,
funnel them all and just
yeah.
say, you know what? I'll trust it.
Oh my! Look at where your mind went.
Yeah.
Well, it's like what was the identity I forget when Equifax, right?
Yes.
Which is everybody.
Yes.
Equifax is just everyone's using for their identity management. They got hacked, and they're like, "But we're going to cover you with free identity management." I was like, "But you are the ones who got hacked in the
Yeah,
first place."
exactly.
So, look,
That's pretty ironic.
It's
Yeah.
unfortunately, and we laugh about it, but it's a constant battle, and that's the problem with security, right? It is a constant battle. You don't always see your return on just because nothing bad happened to you,
Yeah.
doesn't mean everything's okay. We have to be constantly vigilant.
Yes.
And I got this great password. No one's going to guess it. I remember it, and then all of a sudden, I'm in the Yahoo leaks. And because I play fantasy football on Yahoo, and I'm in the leaks, and now everyone's got my password, right?
Right.
And so by no fault of my own. So that's kind of fortunate. And as I said, part of it, and it's just reminding the awareness piece, reminding people. I say there's kind of three reasons why people get in trouble, right? There is kind of incompetence, complacency, and malice. Okay, so the incompetence and the complacency you can kind of work on, right? Hey guys, let's be vigilant. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how to use a password manager. You can work on that. And then when you get those covered, the people who are really out to do bad things.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You narrow it down. So it's
Yeah.
like, I didn't know. Well, you did know. So now you're in the insider risk and malice category.
Yeah.
We knew you're up to no good.
Honestly, it's scary, but it's also good that we're listening and everyone's listening to this right now, is because it can help you I got to be more aware. When I get those email prompts from Google,
geez. Oh, yeah.
change your password, whatever, and I usually just notoriously ignore them. Right? I'm like, no one knows my password, but there's been something that it got flagged, right? So pay attention to the signals. Pay attention.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay, so I'm just doing an overview. If
Yeah.
you get a data leak, you get any of these notices, don't just kind of scoff at it. At least at some point, do your due diligence, have a password manager, take the time an afternoon with a nice cup of tea,
Write them all in.
and
Yeah.
maybe make it a communal thing with other family members, but take it seriously because it could come back to bite you somewhere.
Yeah, it's one of these things. Like I know it's hard to remember. That's why past measurement makes it easier to remember, and staying vigilant 100%. So the old, a joke, and I don't remember I told this last time, but the old days, to fish somebody, and we talk about the tools, the underlying hacking tools that everyone's using. Those haven't really improved all that much. What has improved is the sophistication of the phishing scams, the targeted attacks that make you click that link. Right, all the link. Once you click the link, you're cooked. So it's not Nigerian prince, CRA scams, all these old ones. Britney Spears virus. All these. They're quaint now.
Oh, the memories.
That's right.
So the minute you click on that link,
so that's what they're trying to get you to click the link. And so what's gotten better is the sophistication of the how that's delivered.
The
how
bait,
people are
the bait.
how people are targeting you. So you see, I did have this news. I did sign up for this newsletter. Or I am waiting for some sort of email.
Yeah, they do know the intel. They know you've been searching table saws and whatever
that's
it is.
So I got a deal on this, or it comes from your, a friend. That's, hey, did you see this? Blah blah blah. They're hacked. They provide access, and we click the link. So I said I joke. Back in the old days, when we were trying to target somebody, and when we were the good guys targeting the bad guys, that we'd send 4 text messages. I mentioned last time, 4 text messages, right? It was naked picture, naked picture, the malicious link, and oops, that wasn't for you, right? Yeah. And then everyone clicks that. I got to click that link. But 100% success rate, right? It's just a variation on how to get people to.
That's brilliant, huh?
Oops, that wasn't for you.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
well, gotta click that link.
Curiosity of human nature. It's actually marketing genius.
Yeah, that's so
good.
Yeah,
so
we got to use that somehow.
Well, then joke is, how long we spent picking out those naked pictures to make sure they were the right pictures. Hours. We got to make sure we know our target. I know. That is essentially what's kind of happening. What's happening out there. So,
okay, so this is the answer. Get an old Oldsmobile, diesel. Forget your phone, maybe the old flip phones. Get off grid as soon as you need to.
That's right.
No, I was joking.
Well, but one of the things is realizing what people know about you. So we did threat assessments and physical security, threat assessments for information security, threat assessments. So what can I find out about you that then I can use to get you to click the link? Oh, I see you're a member of this group. I see you're part of this association. I see you do this X, Y, and Z. That's I'm going to target my message to get you to click the link. So just being aware. I know people, Google yourself. Google yourself. See what's out there. See what's out there. Set Google links up. Google alerts up. Put your name in. Get alerts when you start getting showing up on places. There's.
I never heard of that. What's that? Google.
So you can set. Yeah, it's funny. You can set up a Google alert. So anytime your name or anything you put shows up, it gets indexed by Google. Then you will get an alert.
Notification.
So I just did when I was a spy, I put my name in just in case anyone, some website had Andrew Kirsch is a spy. And I didn't go and find out about it, right? There was no alerts about me. There's an Andrew Kirsch who's a doctor in Atlanta, pediatric. What a sweet guy. I get the alerts every time that he's getting this award, that award. When I sold the book, there was a notice about the book. I said, finally, Andrew Kirsch in Atlanta got a notice about me. But you can set up your own self up. So you see what people are saying. If anybody's out to,
interesting.
Yeah, if anybody's out
Google
there
alert.
listening to you. Set up a Google alert about yourself, Google yourself. Just figure out what your, what's out there about yourself that people can then kind of
in a wise way, not a vain way, everybody, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, no, it's safe. Know what's out there about yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That you can then kind of mitigate some of that risk. That's how you're getting targeted. I mean, that's go see, how do I get you to click that link? Where can I find you? If I was out to get you, if I wanted to corner you and have you in a public space, where would that be?
Right.
And then for executive protection, who's out to get you?
Right.
That's
it sounds like a little dog outside of our studios to get us. Yeah.
That's all right. That's my attack dog.
There you go.
Attack dog.
Yeah.
But,
So this is really good to know. So for companies listening, for just individuals listening, and you got to up your cyber protection. You got to put preventative measures in place. And if you need more information, 100%, this is a service that the Kirsch Group provides.
I know it's hard out there. I know it's scary. I know it's tough to stay on top of, and it's not everyone's primary responsibility. we talk all the time that it's tough to find people. Corporate security teams are pressed. And so what we do, and I have a network of intelligence, military, law enforcement people, and then we come in and provide a little capacity for you.
Yeah.
Oh, I need someone to come in and do assessment. I don't have anybody here who can do it.
Right.
I need some help to get our program, and we don't have in-house security. If you're a small, medium company and you're about to sign a big contract and someone says, by the way, you guys need a security assessment, a threat risk assessment. And it's a receptionist, it's on email, like Googling, what is a threat risk assessment? Who do I get to do it?
Yeah.
That's what we help. That's what we come in and
That's
can help out.
amazing.
Right? Because they need it. They don't know how to do it. They don't have anybody else to do it. We can do it.
Okay, I knew a great businessman, a really amazing guy, and he always let me know. He said error increases with distance. The further away you are from something, the more likely that you won't hit that target. What makes intelligence interesting, it may not bring you closer to your target, but it maybe it gives you like a scope in a way. Because like if we were to stand on a watchtower, like in a physical respect, we're looking all over the place for a threat. We're not working intelligently.
You're flying blind. That's why I love your name. The Sentinel. The Sentinel you're trying to. So intelligence is that larger view of what are the threats and risks. What am I scanning for? And then I'm building your security around it. As we were talking before, if you show up to where you're supposed to be at exactly the minute you're supposed to be there, you're just walking in blind. You're not there early, getting assessment, looking around, and if back that up to, Googling the location you're going to meet. Where would I sit if I'm going to go there? How am I going to get there? Where am I going to park? I mean, this is really in the weeds as far as like when I was, working. That's the kind of stuff we would never go somewhere we had never been before. If we were going to break into a house, that was not the first time we were going to see, the house. The intelligence is building that picture to then plan appropriately and then build contingencies when inevitably things go wrong. And you're like, okay, well, in my back of my mind, if this happens, I'm going to go over here. Like, if I'm scheduling a meeting with somebody, I'm going to say, okay, well, and I have one chance to talk to them. I'm going to say, I'm going to go to, this Tim Hortons or this, McDonald's and meet you here. And if for whatever reason, you walk in there and you don't feel comfortable, this is our backup. Right?
Yeah.
Because you walk in there and I'm sitting down and you see someone
and you walk out.
And you can't walk up to me and tell me like I have to leave.
Yeah.
You leave, I'll know where to get you. This is where we go.
That's
some
good,
planning
man.
and doing some. Here's our first. By the way, our McDonald's is down the road.
Yeah.
That's our backup.
Right.
And I've scanned out. I know what's there. I know where it is, and I've communicated that to the person. We have a plan.
Yeah, I had a colleague I was working with. I was on the front lines with him. He was a high-level protection agent, and he had a different type of thinking. And once on a quiet day, he goes, if we were part of an armed robbery, imagine 3 individuals come with assault rifles. What do we do? And my first thought was, okay, I'm going to climb up there. I'm going to attack him from the top. And he was like, okay. He's an older senior gentleman who was more wiser. And I found it very interesting. He was talking about building intelligence. Try to pick up on a name. Try to, if anything, if they are like asking us to facilitate something, he says, purposely lead them in front of a camera. Get them in front of a camera. He said, build basically a trail of intelligence. And he goes, know their description. Try to understand what their motive was. And it like that one conversation changed the way that I kind of looked at everything from that point. He kind of gave me a lens of to understand and say first responders. Let's just say those that are authorized to pursue these people. That if they were to come, and this is the way the general public can be a great asset to those resources, is most people, I don't know how tall he was. I don't know what his skin color was. And with every door frame you pass, you see like the height chart, right? Like, does anyone really pay attention to that? But even just knowing, did they head east? I know exactly, not everyone.
Yeah.
What direction did they head? What vehicle was it? Was there other vehicles waiting for them? And like, and he was telling me that the better that intelligence is, and as quick as you can get it to the proper resources, there's a higher likelihood that they can arrest them.
Sure.
So he was kind of like saying, you thought that you needed to be a hero in the moment. And he goes, but don't ever do that ahead of time. He goes, intelligence is a trail that can just lead the right people directly to them. And that like totally changed my thinking, because I'm a doer. I'm a guy who's like, I'm going to go. He was way wiser in that. And I think that's like a great picture on like, as an everyday person, you might be at a supermarket. You see there's something, I mean, man, if you're online at any point, if you're on social media at any point, we're seeing the worst of humanity on display at any point. And instead of being the bystander with the phone, man, you just never know who that person is. You might need to be able to say to police, this is what I saw happen in that parking lot beforehand, because you observed it, and it's intelligence, right?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I talking to a colleague the other day, and we were, how do you operate these days? Everyone having a Ring camera and all the technology, not just from the attack side. That creates an opportunity that's also on the defense. But we were saying, the joke in the still that the toughest person to defeat or get around is a security aware neighbor. People sit up, anyone sits on their porch all day long. They know everyone's car. They know who's who. Yes. And I walked up.
What do they call community watch?
Right? Yeah, but even guys. Just like the people up front who would never have a formal title, but just that's how they spend their day. And
they're a born eagle, born eagle eye.
It's amazing. I say, walk up to the front door of a house, break in, and the neighbor pops their head and goes, "Oh, they're not home. Right. They're not coming back."
Yeah. Right.
Or the number of surveillance to park on a street and have the person walk over and I don't know what do you
We've had a lot of guys have that. You get the friendly knock, right?
What do you?
We're watching you watch them.
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
up?
Yeah, exactly. So we have to all do our part, but it's also communicating to.
That's hilarious.
It's the number one thing you can do. I tell you is know your neighbors, communicate with the neighbors. They will provide intelligence. Hey, I saw a weird car parked here last night.
Is that
you guys?
Very true.
Or hey, noticed your garbage bins aren't out. Are you guys away or whatnot? It's something weird. And if they have a problem, if someone's broken in down the street, 3 blocks over, that person might come back and go to your car on the street 2 blocks over.
That's what usually happens.
And to me, these are good things that you're saying, Andrew, because to me, I think there's such small things that we can do. Like I'll give you an example. I said this before. I was listening to this earlier. But the worst thing someone can do, for example, is to advertise they're going away on vacation. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And again, it happens all the time where people just blast that out.
Yeah, going to Bora Bora for 14 and a half days.
I'll be away.
No, I know. And then, or for example, when I go away, and I just went away, right. I told I'll never post a picture ever while I'm gone away, because to me, I was thinking, that's an indication you're gone, right?
Sure.
Someone
I thought you always did that. I always thought that you did that because you wanted to show a nice tan.
No.
After the before and after.
What I do is I let my neighbors know. Yeah. I tell them, guys, I'm gone away. Now, I have cameras and lighting and all that jazz, but I say, if anyone drops any paper or package, can you just remove it off my thing to make it look like someone's... I have timers in my house that go on and off. The lights are on and off. I do a lot of things to make my house living. You know what I mean?
And it sounds like Home Alone, where you have those mannequins on.
I said, you joke. I said, I got little kids, I have 4 and 6-year-old. We place traps when we go away as a fun spy traps.
I love this.
So it's way. I get asked by 6-year-old. They go, "Could you have spy lessons, Dad? We have spy lessons." So I've done some spy lessons with kids.
Spy lessons,
we have
Dad?
spy lessons. Yeah. When we go away, it is Home Alone. We set traps.
I got to bring my kids over, and they would love it.
I say, if someone's going to break into my house, they're going to earn it. So I have every toy that my kids, that I should telling the podcast, but every toy that makes noise and is a pain to step on is right in my back door. Like if you come in my back, you are stepping on. The fire truck is going crazy. Lights are going crazy.
In real life.
Is we build block towers.
Yes.
And front. So if someone tries to open the window, the towers are going off. We have tape. Now, look, where we were breaking in, it was that no one would know we were there. So we were not trying to break, and we were trying to be there. And so there's little spy tricks like tape on a door. And other things like that where look, someone's going to break the door, you'll know they're there.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like to set the traps. Like you're going to have a miserable time if you try to come in my house. Right. A miserable time. But it is that. Yeah. Delay. Delay them.
That's right.
Detect. So if my neighbor goes away and the back door opens and someone steps on, and all of a sudden all these kid toys are lighting up, making noise.
Yeah, that's right.
Someone's going to hear it.
That's right.
That's what alarm too. That's what alarm will detect, and then they got to get out, and then the cameras to kind of make sure I catch who's ever doing it.
Exactly.
So we have fun doing that. But where should we put we have cameras inside. Where should we put the camera? Where do you think we're going to see them?
And then you have 4 Presa Canarios in the basement, just really hungry.
That's right.
And a kind of Corso ready, and just there.
That's it. Of course, then I come home and I got to clean it all up. It's a big mess, but we have fun doing it.
No, look, that's amazing. And like everything that we're talking about is like preventative measures that you can do. What else would someone, or an entity looking to connect with, the Kirsch group? What else could they get as a service? Because I think it's important that
Yeah.
we kind of highlight some of the stuff that you do, because you have quite a few things that you
A
take.
plethora.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, we do threat risk vulnerability assessments, a lot of physical security assessments and audits to make sure. A lot of people need third-party assessments. We do technical surveillance countermeasures, bug sweeps. I have a great, there's the guys who offer bug sweeps that buy something on Amazon that beeps and makes noise. We got real military grade tools that
exactly.
come in. It's
We
not
got
cheap,
real
but it's the
tools.
real. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so it's not for someone who just can you tool around. It's serious stuff.
Yeah.
And we do some investigations as well. Obviously, my background, some threat intelligence, online threat investigations. And so that's, we're looking for, we say, executives and private clients.
Yes.
And I'll tell you what we're looking for. So one thing is when you're looking online, and here's tips for anybody. These are the three things I'm looking for if I'm doing an online exposure threat assessment of somebody.
Okay.
The first thing is physical security. Where can you be identified that I know where you'll be at a certain time? So I know you're home, you got a cottage, you go to religious services. Where are the physical locations that I know that you will be, that if I wanted to find you, then I could find you.
Right.
Okay. And sometimes people don't think about it, but it's if you're your school, if you're a school trustee, then they know maybe I'm going to drop my kid off at school at that time. So where can be identified? Number two is the cybersecurity, the personal identifiable information. Is your password leaked online? Can I figure out your mother's maiden name and credit card number and passport and all these things that I can use to hack you? And number three is who's out to get you? Right? We don't often think, okay, are there any organized groups? Is your company that you're a part of a problem? Not no fault of your own, everybody, but you're a part of an organization that people are protesting, people are upset about. And what's the temperature like there?
Okay.
Because then intelligence-wise, hey, you know what? Temperature's raised. We're going to worry more about where you are going to be.
Right.
Yes.
So that you say you don't have physical security on you at all times, but hey, you know what? We're seeing some activity here. You're kind of in the crosshairs, pun intended, and maybe we do want to put a car outside your house for an evening, or when you go to this public event that's very public, you do want to have a little more protection around you. Because if you're not monitoring this, how are you making a plan for this?
That's
right?
true.
And I think that's when we talk about the intel. That's sometimes what's missing, right? Is that it's not a static thing, right? People put cameras and alarms in their house and they go, okay, great. Well, your home is protected, right? Well, what are your other critical assets, and what's the temperature around those types of things?
Yeah, that's good.
All of a sudden you bought or sold a home, and your videos are on, the videos of your house and the tour that they put on MLS or Realtor.ca. It's still on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You
now
can
you're
see
gonna
everything.
You're going to be a more attractive target.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So what's out there that makes you a more attractive target? And then how are we building security around that? So that's executives and same for companies. Right?
That's really good.
Same for companies. So it's fun. As I said, this is what we did. We used to knock, and this is how it's changed too. When I used to knock on a door, so CSIS, we're going out, we're knocking on doors asking the public for help, right? And what we're looking for is people with access to information. And these are good people. Look, we're looking for the good guys to
Right.
tell us about that will help us.
Yeah.
And the old days, you go online and look up the person, and you get lucky if they were in the paper for volunteering at the local, fair or something like that.
Right.
Or if they were a Rotary Club member, and you could find, maybe they're civically engaged.
Yeah.
Right. There's not a lot of information about people nowadays. If you're looking for people, it's everything they ever thought is on Twitter. Everyone's dancing on TikTok. Every friend they have is on Facebook. You can see who they're friends with, who they're not. Oh, this person is related to, looks like a police
So
officer.
it's super easy now.
So it's good and it's bad, right?
Yeah.
So it's good that I say, this person, I look at this person, I want to talk to them. Their three siblings are cops.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe that's someone who's going to help out CSIS. I'm going to feel
Right.
better about going and knocking on that side, knocking on the
Right.
door, right? There's a lot more information about it. So if we're looking for that stuff where people can help us, the bad guys look for that stuff too. Of this person looks like they go away every December.
That's right.
They look. I see from their Instagram they go away every Christmas time to Mexico, and I wonder if there could be a way this.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of what's changed the game a little bit, and we're doing that. As I said, looking for help. The bad guys are looking for opportunities.
Right. To me, I think there's some really valuable things here, because also what it's doing, it's showing people that, you may not think you have any, I'm not going to use the word value, but more like importance. Well, why would someone want to stake me? Why would somebody want to, who am I? I mean,
That's right.
You could
every
think-
time.
Yeah. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just look, recently in the news, I think it was 2 days ago, there was a gentleman in Brampton, a real estate agent, who basically, he was going into his Jeep. Yeah.
I saw
happened?
that.
What happened?
Oh, that was.
He was a real estate agent going into his Jeep, and then he basically, as he was in there, a guy came with an axe and started banging, broke the glass, and then as soon as he tried to get out, then there was another guy, two other guys, one with a machete came in. They hacked the guy up pretty bad. Apparently he's in really, really rough shape right now.
Yeah.
It was
But
just an attack.
They were saying it was a targeted attack, right? So to me, like I, when you're telling me about, and when I'm hearing about potential, what could have been done, preventive measures. I know, for example, for myself, whenever I leave anywhere, I'm always making sure that I'm not like in an area where like maybe I'm close to a wall as possible.
Sure.
And I know my surroundings. Could anybody be behind me? When I sit in a restaurant, I never sit facing away from the wall. I'm always looking out, and I don't have, at least I don't think I have anyone that's out to get me. But to me, I act like I have someone's out to get me all the time because I want to make sure that I'm just prepared for something that happens.
Well, and there's, the number of people are victims of crime as opportunity, right? Leave your garage door open, and someone walking by grabs your bike.
Right.
Like, it's not necessarily they were targeting your house. There's
Right.
So a certain level of security awareness. And one thing, so we talk about what I do. I also go on podcasts, I do public speaking, and go and talk to companies to raise that level of security awareness, which is you do have things of value, which are physical assets, but also your information, your credentials. Like I said, you can hack a company, but it's much easier to say, if you give me your password and username, I don't need to hack it. I'm just going to go right through you.
Right.
That's your value right there.
Mm-hmm.
Or your, so-and-so is whatever, and you have a key and access to that person. And then you say you haven't met anybody who's had been a victim of identity theft or that is the worst. I mean, when you are a victim of a hack and you've had your information taken, or you've had having to deal with the banks and getting your life back together, I would wish that on anybody. And the violation of when you're robbed.
Right.
Right. That is it's a material things, but
it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling. No, not at all.
There's a lasting mark. You're
and
scathed.
And for companies, they have reputational risk. Right. Your company is, your reputation of, are you able to protect your clients' information, your customers, your partners, your vendors. If you're coming up and you're growing, you got to raise your kind of security along with what's appropriate for the information you have and who you're dealing with. As I said, I get a lot of requests from kind of businesses that are just hitting that where they don't have anyone in house, but they need to have something. They need to step up, and so we can kind of help them with that gap. Or even big companies that say they have a couple people in house, but they don't have the capacity to go out and do assessments of all their facilities. So we kind of help fill those gaps with someone's unique skills. And no one keeps a sweep team in their office, but once a year when they have the AGM, once a year when they're going to have their board meetings, they say, hey, can you come in and help us with this thing? And that happens. Or my executive is traveling, or we're having an off-site, and before we go in, we want to make sure that everything's okay. And then I say, okay, well, when is the meeting? We can't, we have to do it the day of, and all these, work with them on doing that kind of stuff.
Right.
You guys have to protect the door. Like, once you do a sweep, you can have someone sticking around.
That's right.
Leave the room open. So
that's right.
It's funny. Security can be challenging and scary, and we're constantly on guard. And that's, part of it is raising awareness so everyone's a little bit better, and also providing support to people because we need help.
Right.
Like, I'm not a tech guy, but I know enough, and I can, we have people that can help and provide assistance.
And are you that guy that puts little green tapes or sticky tapes over your MacBook
Oh
camera?
yeah, camera, absolutely.
Okay.
Over the camera. I think Zuckerberg, Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg does that.
Yeah.
I'm not great. I have some tools that I use, and I'm on social media.
Yeah, of course.
Look, it's the weirdest thing. I went from 10 years. I'm invisible. Right? 10 years avoiding anybody. And then all of a sudden I'm trying to promote a book. I ran for office like, hey, this is my face. This is my real name. This is everything about me and my family.
You're making up for a decade.
That's right. All my friends like, what? You worked at CSIS for 10 years?
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry I lied to you for so long. I go, hey, I don't love it, but it's something that I have to do. Some people have to be online. Some people have to have public profiles to grow their business so where you have to do it, you got to manage it.
No, that's good.
And where companies require people to go online, they got to help them manage it.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Look, these are great awareness tools, and I think for any individual company, even like the kind of work that we specialize in, like a lot of stuff that we specialize in with our VIPs, is the confidentiality, and that's like everything. So, for example, when we're referencing a celebrity that we're working with or VIP, we never use their names.
Sure.
You know, we
code
may
names,
we may use code
Oh,
names, or
fun.
we may be an initial, but it's never something that's going to lead to that, and that even
Yeah.
includes reporting. Right, because at the end of the day, anything can be traced, and you know, we've had situations in, like very very early on where, you know, some of our guys would send reports in with the names of the talent. Like, you can't do that. But I'm sending it to you. No, you're sending it to a platform to us that can be hacked. And even though we have all these measures in place, we want to make sure that information doesn't get leaked. You know.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, we talked about some jobs, and I think, you know, one of the reasons I, you know, chat with you guys and work with you guys is because, you know, we were saying, okay, you're going to go and travel and do some close protection abroad. And you're like, well, we're going to know we're going. We're going to map out a plan. Like, you know, people say, oh, I need a security guard to show up on Monday. Well, the work starts, you know, Friday.
Yes.
Where, you know, that trying to educate, we can't just say, oh, I want him that day, and they walk in. There's no, you know, you have to know where he's going to be, know what the, you know, who am I calling if something goes wrong?
Yes.
Where am I going? And so I hope there's some awareness around that. I hope that your clients appreciate that when you say, well, it's not hourly on the day.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge for security sometimes
you know,
too.
Andrew, I think a lot of it is education, right? I mean,
100%.
some of our agents, I mean, not like it's a standard practice when we're getting an assessment ourselves. Is like, what's your blood type? What do you mean, what's my blood type? But what if something happens
Sure.
and we need to take you to the hospital
Sure.
and we need to, and you can't, you know, articulate that. So there's elements where you're educating them as to just how much you have to be in the know to help them in the situation, and why the assessment is so important. You know?
Absolutely. I think that's kind of the awareness piece that I talk about, is having that, the prep work, the intelligence that goes along with prep. People do decent job with protection. Okay, I have security, I have cameras, stuff like that. Well, where's that kind of a piece around what are we protecting? You know, what are the threats and risks against it, and are those appropriate for what we have?
Right.
So that's, as I said, you know, I'm sure you have the education piece where you tell people, well, I really a couple hours because we're putting our plans together, or how you incorporate that. But, you know, if you're getting security, you should be asking those questions too.
It's
Yeah,
true.
I mean,
very true.
Yeah, ask tough questions to
Yeah.
your security teams.
Because even though you may be getting security, you may not really be getting security.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's good.
Exactly.
That's good.
So,
Yeah, now that we know that you do a bug sweep, and
that's right.
we know that we'll.
That's right.
No, I know that we'll have clients for sure that will need that, guaranteed. You know,
It's a good practice. As I said, I don't like to freak people out, but it's a good due diligence, and sometimes it's that people know you do it. Make sure that people aren't going to be doing things.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a good business practice for you know, I don't like people call me up. Can you do so? I think, do you really need it? You know, some people need it, some people don't.
yeah.
But
I can tell you. I mean, we have some high-profile individual
Sure.
coming into the city, highly publicized. There's a hotel staff there. There's all these people. Some people like that individual, but I've always seen on the inside there's people who hate that individual. They literally like, so and so staying in our hotel. They could have malicious intent easily. So they have access to that room 24/7. That stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I did a post on LinkedIn the other day about our job, and you know, we're looking up a few examples. Oh, I wonder if there's any examples online about people who've put cameras. Yeah, a lot of examples of people who put covert cameras to spy on, you know, schools or public restrooms, and then recording in meetings, law firms, you know, hedge funds and deals and things like that. It happens, and it's good peace of mind to go, oh, I'm okay, and we can have this is a secure site.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Look,
amazing.
this has been such.
I hope it's all right.
No,
No,
100%.
it's good.
This has
It's
been
good.
such an informative session. I think that's massive value of what you've been pushing on today. How do we find the Kirsch Consulting Group?
Yeah, you can find Kirsch, KirschCG.com. So Kirsch Consulting Group, CG.com is the website. It's going to be
That was actually available, cg.com?
Kirsch CG.
Kirsch CG. Okay.
KIRSCHCG.com. Find
Perfect.
me, Andrew Kirsch. You know, happy to talk to you about your security challenges and any concerns, and find a way to help you out. I said, this is when you're work for the government, and my desire to serve and help and keep people safe doesn't end when you stop working. And I think that's a lot of people in private security who were in government. It's because that's what we like to do. We like to help people. And so now it's just a different way of doing it.
That's amazing.
Nice.
And I appreciate you guys having me on.
Andrew, thank you so much.
Friend of the pod. I'm the friend of the
Oh,
friend
yeah,
of the
yeah.
program.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So while companies are waiting for it to get hacked, why don't you read a book in the meantime? I was never here. It's a fantastic book once again. Andrew, I want to thank you for coming down. Really, really appreciate it. Lots of golden nuggets here that we can all take value of, and we are looking forward to potential Chapter 3 podcasts.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
I'll be back anytime, guys. Anytime.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks so much,
Awesome.
guys.
Wicked.
This podcast is brought to you by Executive Protection Lifestyle Canada. Make sure to drop by next week and don't forget to subscribe.